Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about losing interest. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Frederick, I am a software engineer and in the last 3 months I have been starting to lose interest in my work. I have over 10 years of experience, and is this the same type of problem that other engineers of my experience levels might have? Yes, I would say so. Uh, Not necessarily. It really much depends on how good you are, like how I don't know how big and blue are your eyes. I mean, they can be whatever color, but how bright-eyed are you? How much magic do you see in the world? And are you able to follow your passions and actually have the courage to do so? If you are that sort of person, then you can pretty much feel fulfilled every single day of your entire life. Mm, Maybe there might be a rainy day or a cloudy day at a few times, but for the most part, you're just happy. You're obnoxiously happy all the time. But for the vast majority of people, you will get to a point where, yes, you're not as interested in the work that you do because, simply put, there is a finite amount of energy and things that you can learn before you start to feel as if the thing you're doing is kind of like old hat. It's just something you've done 100 times before. And this is just my personal saying. I usually say to people that no matter how amazing something is, no matter how magical or special or whatever it feels like, given enough time, it will become boring. Doesn't matter what it is. If you do the same thing for long enough, regardless of what it is, it's going to get boring at some point. And we kind of, that's some people look at that as, I don't know, a bad mindset. I don't really think so, or that it's something that, it's something that steals away from the magic of doing something, or it makes your outlook on life bleak. I don't actually look at it like that. I look at it as a very, very valuable insight, because if you think about it, that what it really means is that everything you do, well, you will master that at some point, or you will feel like this is now normal, and it changes your perspective from trying to have this idea that I'm just gonna I'm gonna make my life about just this one thing. You change from that to understanding that, you know what, I'm gonna do this thing until it's not fun anymore, and then I'm gonna do something else because I can find something other than this that is going to give me that same sensation again, and then I'm gonna pursue that thing until that gets boring. I once said to a friend of mine who was asking about, like, kind of my mind about this, and I said that I look at my life in many cases as a dog chasing a car. I mean, I swear to you, I said this before the Joker said this. I don't actually, I just chase the car. I don't really know why. I just want to catch it. And when I catch it, well, then it's boring. I don't really know what to do with it. I'll just go and chase another car and just continue that until I die. And I think that you should do the same. So if you've lost interest in your work, you can absolutely just accept that, well, there's a book about this that is called The Dip, which is usually something that happens to professional software developers. And I've seen people, I work with people like you every single day, and I have for the last few years, to varying people, of course. But you've worked for for a period of time now where it feels like, yeah, this is kind of old for me now, and so you dip. And usually you will stay in that dip until you get to the personal realization, as I was saying, that you now need to chase a different car, or you need something to change. It's like watching a movie over and over and over again. So every time you rewatch a movie, you're hoping that you will feel something again, similar to the thing that you felt the first time. But if you watch the same movie for long enough, finally you will know every sentence, you will know everything about it, and it's not stimulating you in the same way. You might have it on in the background just as background noise, but it's not going to engage you. You can't watch it with full uh, in the same full experience you did the first time. And so you can have that background noise, and you can treat, and a lot of developers do, you put your career in a autopilot type of situation where it's just background noise, and then you wait. Like some people even get depressed, and I've worked with a few developers who have confided in me and actually said that they are depressed because they don't feel in, fulfilled anymore. And I go, that it's very normal that you don't feel fulfilled because you can't be happy all the time. It's practically impossible. And when you're in that moment, when you're in that dip, your best bet, at least if you ask me, is to try to look at it, as I said, as a dip. If you make it through to the other side, and the thing that's going to get you out of that rut or that dip is when you find something that makes life worth living again. And you can find that. It really is up to you if you want to try to find it, or if you want to stick around for a little while and just feel it out and see if something comes up later on. Because sometimes you don't know what you're looking for. Sometimes you just have to wait until you can look for something to find yourself, if that makes sense, and simply see if an opportunity presents itself that makes you feel something. And here is the one tip that I will give you on this, because every single person is going to handle this differently. I urge you, if you feel a pinch in your chest when something seems excited, you have a choice now. Do you want to try to pursue that thing that made you feel something, or do you want to stay in the lethargic autopilot state? Either way is going to have pros and cons, but at least I suggest that if you really do feel that the life that you're living isn't feeling all that fulfilling, or the work that you're doing isn't feeling fulfilling anymore, if you actually feel something, try to pursue it. And this is one of those really rare occasions where if you've made the right life choices before you get to this point, and you've been saving money, or you've been and taking care of yourself and doing all of these sort of things that doesn't really make sense if you live for the moment, well, now you might actually be able to make that investment. You might actually be able to start that company, or switch to that startup, or meet that new person, or whatever you might be doing, because you've done your homework. So what I want you to take away from this is that it is very normal that someone with a lot of years of experience gets to a point where they simply don't find their work interesting anymore. And some people stay like that, and they just kind of write it out because they find hobbies or other things that they want to do that gives them fulfillment, and their work isn't all that important for them. But if you want to deal with this thing in a healthy manner, I think that you should be open to experiment a little bit. If you've been doing your homework and you have had a good balance between doing things that make you really happy right here and right now, and things that are good investments for the future, you should hopefully, after 10 years of work, have a stable enough life where you can be a little bit crazy and try it out. See if you want to try and go and work for a startup where you can do some fulfilling things, or try to join a consultancy, or like try to start your own company, or whatever. Like, do something a little bit different, or at the very least be a little bit on a lookout. Just browse around, see what things are out there. And if you feel like, you know what, that seemed pretty interesting, see if you just ask yourself, do I want to stay this way, or do I want to give it a try? I mean, you can always go back to not caring if you've done your homework. So maybe it's not that bad. Just try it. See what happens. Have a great day.